Yep, me. The fuck. I don't give a damn really. I really didn't ever just die because y'all know how fucking schools be, especially when it comes down to young boys. There's certain ways you gotta fucking be in order to present yourself in school. But he just want to express himself differently, and shit, I'm always with it anyway. I'm the type of bitch that colors my shit the rainbow any goddamn way, so why not do my sons? You know what I'm saying? And boom, bam. Look at her. Sitting nice. You see me? You see him. Hey, y'all, my baby wanted his hair dyed, so guess who did his motherfucking hair? Yep, me. The fuck. I don't give a damn really. I really didn't ever just die because y'all know how fucking schools be, especially when it comes down to young boys. There's certain ways you gotta fucking be in order to present yourself in school. But he just want to express himself differently, and shit, I'm always with it anyway.
I think it's just replaying it over again, bro.
So why not do my experiments? You know what I'm saying? And boom, bam.
Yeah, I was just repeating it because, it's only a 30-second, just to give folks, pretty much get a little bit of indoctrination. You know what I'm saying?
Just so everybody know, too, you see Twitter playing host because they get playing games. They got me now as a co-host and they got you as a host. So this might be another rough night here going on tonight here because somehow they got me listed as a co-host and they got you now as the host.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
They probably saw the title of this and they talk about, I know he's not finna talk about no buck breaking and this and that. And you done got people on the horn talking about they up here, they being mean to us, they discriminate and all this other nonsense. You know how this stuff go ahead, but I don't care. Like I said, we got to call it for what it is. You sent me the one, and this wasn't a black people. This was, you had like this LGBT, you had these kids at this LGBT, like the dudes was dressed up in leather and whatnot in front of this little girl and whatnot. Like, what in the hell? Like, we talking about here? Like, what in the world? You sent me that a couple of days ago, and I retweeted that, and a bunch of people was responding. They like, oh, this is crazy. This is nonsense. My son was in the 6th grade last year, and he was at school, and you had, he goes to like a mixed school or whatever, what have you, and you had like 2 12-year-old girls. You had girls out there crying over each other because they talk about one of them broke up with the other one. 12 years old. Listen, he better not be up here crying over no girl, talking about no girl broke up with him and he 12 years old. You got 12-year-old girls sitting up here crying over each other, talking, oh, my girl. And then the teacher got to tell everybody that she's bisexual and just nonsense going on, man. Complete nonsense. And everybody sitting up here talking about it's okay for boys to wear dresses. It's okay for boys. It's okay. Like, it's nothing wrong. They getting in touch with their feminine side. Well, I'm here to tell you there's something wrong with a little boy wearing a goddamn dress. There's a lot of issues wrong with a boy wearing a dress. A boy should not be wearing a dress. He's 11, 12 years old. That boy wants to be grown, and he wants to put on a skirt and high heels and a wig and lipstick. Hey, that's his choice. At 11, 12 years old, it's your choice as a parent or as an adult to guide that child. It's not up here to let the child decide what the child wants to be. The child may feel like he can jump off the top of a roof. Should you go ahead and let him jump off the top of the roof? Go ahead, DJ. You got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, look in the Jumbotron. The thread is right there for if y'all want to watch it in the background, see what the little boy looked like and see how he was posing on a toilet with his legs crossed. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Oh, and the crazy thing is he looked like Dwayne Wade's son. Like, he actually looked like the dude. He could be his brother.
I thought he was a little girl the moment I saw his face. Like, damn. So I don't know, bro. You know what I'm saying? I guess I don't know. I ain't even gonna speak on it. It's hard to even speak on that shit, bro.
It's not that hard, man. Like I said, we're not here to gay bash. We're not here to LGBTQ bash. What we're here to say is that kids...
No. Not from that perspective. It's more sort of like, maybe he was born gay. You know what I'm saying? That's what they be saying. You know what I'm saying? He looked like a girl for real. So is his mother grooming him? Like, show me the pictures when he was 5 years old versus 10 right now. You feel what I'm saying? So you can see a timeline of how he was maybe like a little boy, and then his mother is grooming him to be a queen. You feel what I'm saying? On some real shit. Because that's what Madonna and Charlize Theron and all these certain mothers, women, are doing to these men. That's the male hate.
Bro, not to cut you off, don't get me started, because Madonna, every time you see, she got her son up here posing and wearing a dress. How about her son always, and you see all of these white Hollywood actresses and actors adopting these black kids, mainly African kids. Now, they not getting the black American kids like that. They adopted all these African kids. And the next thing you know, like you say, Charlene and Madonna, the rest of them, they kids, all of them sitting up here wearing dresses and skirts and lipsticks and got purses and this and that. Getting back to the kid we was talking about, the one that was on the toilet that she said maybe he was born gay. I don't doubt that he wasn't. He may not be born gay. You know, I don't know. I don't know if it's a gay gene or not. I haven't. And shout out to you, Wayne. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App. I don't know if he was born gay or not. My thing is this right here. What there are plenty of gay men in this world that dress like men. Like, this is a thing that people like when they come up with this gay stuff. Like, oh, whoa, yeah. There's plenty of gay men, and always have been gay men that dress and act like men. Always, there's gay men that will beat the living dog out of straight men that can fight, can play sports, do everything that a regular straight man can do. So all this talk that, oh, well, all gay men is feminine, that is a lie. That is nonsense. There are plenty of gay men. My thing is right here is that the child is still a child. You shouldn't be up here putting down, relaxing the child head in a boy's head, dyeing a boy's hair color, because you're talking about, well, you dye your hair. Shit, I dye my hair, and if I dye my shit, then my child can dye their shit, because that's how it is. I mean, man, you get your ass out of here. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so with that being said, too, I agree with you 100%. So I was, speaking to one of my relatives, and we was talking about, a relative, that a family member that we lost recently due to the COVID. So that relative was gay. So my aunt was saying that, your other auntie, she been gay since she was a little kid. And she was like, the reason why I knew that was because when I took all the other sisters to go shopping, get some summer dresses, some shoes, get your hair did, all the girl stuff, right? My aunt just wasn't with that shit. She'd go straight to the boys section. So I don't know if that's part of some type of gene issue where it's like you're just not. It's like maybe like a physical attraction as far as what it is you like. I forgot what's the word for it. It's a word for it, but make a long story short, that's what my aunt was saying as far as like, some folks are just born that way where it's like you just don't like anything of your same sex at all. I'll yield there.
And like I said, man, this is not a beat up session. This is not this or whatever, but here in Tallahassee, where I'm at, you had the actual superintendent come out because you had a lot of these teachers sitting up here with these kids, and they was telling these kids, yeah, okay, take for instance, your son goes to school. Now all of a sudden your son wants to be classified as a she or a her. You can't call the son doesn't want you to call him by the name, the birth name. And not only that, but the teachers are going along with it. And with the superintendent, who's a Republican, a lot of people don't like, but I got some respect for this dude right here. Rocky, can't think of his last name. He was sitting up here, and he can't publicly come out, but behind the scenes, we've been hearing that he's saying that, hey, it's something wrong with that. He like, first off, if there's issues with kids in school and stuff like that, it's not our job as a school to go ahead and just take the lead like that. We need to inform these parents and stuff about some of the issues that their children are going with. We can't just sit up here and just go ahead and start making decisions without informing the parents about that. That's the same way that you had people up here, you had schools and stuff knowing that kids had abortions and whatnot and wouldn't tell parents anything about it. You can't sit up here, you sending your son to school, and all of a sudden your son is talking about, don't refer to me as a boy, don't refer to me as a he, refer to me as a she or they or them. And and the teacher's actually going along with it. So they said, well, you know what? This is out of our hands. We need to go ahead and inform your parent. And if your parent, we can't go over your parents' head, but they're not doing that. They're going ahead and they're saying, yeah, well, this and that, we're going to go along with it. You also had some teachers here in Tallahassee that was also putting up LGBTQ stuff in classrooms, I believe, and stuff like that. And if you said something, it was a big stink and this and that. So as much as I don't like Ron DeSantis, and trust me, I do not like Ron DeSantis at all. I think he is a madman. He's ignorant. He's a fool. He's a Trump wannabe. So that makes him a very dangerous individual. I do agree with him on the point that, and it's not that don't say gay and all this other stuff, but I do agree with him to the point that these people are sitting up here to a certain degree and they are just force feeding this stuff down people's throats and whatnot. And if you say something, you're a bigot, you're a hater, you're this and that, you're all these negative things. And like I said, I see girls and stuff going to prom and whatnot, And or not even going to prom. I see I've seen kids going for school shopping, and you have a girl or whatever, and you can hear parents over talking, saying, "Well, she don't like to dress like a girl and this and that, so we're gonna dress up like a boy and whatnot." And I'm thinking, like, damn, like, who runs the household? Does she run the household or do you run the household? Because my thing is, like, when you get 18, you move out, you got a job of your own, you got your own money, this and that. You can dress yourself however you want to dress. I might not approve of it, I might not agree of it, but you're a grown person. There's nothing I can do. But while you're living, like the old timers say, while you're living under this roof, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna respect the laws of this household. And the laws of this household is whatever you're born at birth, you're gonna dress like that. Now when you move out, you wanna do what you wanna do, fine, this and that. You see, every time we see the entertainers on TV, they always went, "Oh my God, are you serious here? Are you serious?" I know, God, we got TS Giselle up in the house. I figure like a topic like this would bring TS into the room. Are you serious? That's what I'm talking about. Remember what Malcolm said on Malcolm X, DJ? He's like, that's what I'm talking about. Talking about the white man's mindset. Like, he was like, the white man's mentality. No, he said, he was like, that's when he saw you boys Spike Lee in there, he's like, that's what I'm talking about. The slave mentality. He's like, this brother still got his hair fried. The slave mentality. All right. All right, TS. Anybody else want to come up and speak before I let TS? Because I don't want everybody saying, well, don't let TS speak. Don't let TS speak.
Hey, I'm trying to bring Ray up, but I guess
I don't know what's. I tried a couple times to bring Ray up. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I'll text him in the DM, but I might get dropped down too because I'm about to switch networks. I gotta go outside for a minute, so I'm getting off the Wi-Fi real quick. You know what I mean? But I'm up here.
All right, TS. Everybody, I'm trying to let y'all come up, but we'll be short and quick with this. All right, TS. What is it? You wanted to request to speak, so I know you got something to say about the nice topic about the buck breaking and the dough breaking and the black boys and the black girls. I know you're gonna sit here and say that I'm just making this up and I'm just hating and this and that or whatever. There is no buck breaking. There's never been any buck breaking whatsoever in the history of this country. I'm just hating. This is all in my mind. I'm just a hater, and I can't adapt with the times and this and that and all this other stuff. I'm just a magpie in my own right. So go ahead, TS. Let me hear it.
Good evening. It's been a long time since you act funny. Anyway, uh, another day, another topic. I just don't understand the obsession that the straights have with the gays. Make it make sense. What is buck breaking? What does that mean? It's not applicable to the modern society. I don't understand this obsession. Um, I came in on the tail end of your speech, Newstoter, whatever you call yourself. And I heard you say that
That's toter. That's toter. Like you got a tote bag. You just add an er. Toter. Toter.
I heard you reference something about children and dressing of the gender that they were born. So is that what can you just refresh the point you were making?
Well, I know you missed the video that DJ played, but you had a video of this mother that sat up here and put some kind of relaxer and dyed in the child's head and her son's head and went ahead and said basically because she dyes her hair and whatnot, and the kid looked like he was about maybe 11 years old or whatever. I'm gonna sit up here and I'm gonna dye this boy's hair because that because I do my hair like that. Hey, I might as well do his hair like that. I mean, of course, we can look at the kid and tell that the kid's is probably a gay kid or whatever. Which hey, the kid can be whatever the hell the kid want to be. My thing is that when you're 11 years old, straight or gay, should nobody be dyeing nobody's hair. I mean, pretty much. So not only that, it was another.
What's wrong with a parent?
What's wrong with what?
What's wrong with a parent accepting who their child is? I think that's an issue in the black community. Is that we want to criticize parents like Dwayne Wade, who accept and love their children for who they are, as opposed to wanting them to be what society says they should be. That's an issue. I found that also I was a bit taken aback by the response from Black Twitter and FBA Twitter with Tevin Campbell coming out saying, "Oh, we knew that Tevin Campbell was gay and he was in a glass closet, but not acknowledging that Black society makes it difficult and hard
Wait
for
a minute,
Black
but
queer people to come.
everybody did know that Tevin Campbell was gay, though.
Don't interrupt me.
Well, I'm
Black
just saying, before you
society,
go on, everybody in the world knew Tevin Campbell was gay, so you can go on.
we did, but you can't sweep that under the rug as if he was not in the closet for a reason. Because in the 90s, it was not normal or accepting for Black men in particular to be out and gay. Tevin Campbell is one of many closeted gay superstars. Another one was Whitney Houston, who could not be themselves because of the ignorance and homophobia from Black society. So we can't say, we knew that you were gay, Tevin, you didn't have to come out, and not acknowledge the homophobia that Black people faced in the 90s, in particular in the entertainment industry.
Okay, now allow me to retort. Okay, everybody, like I said, knew that Tevin Campbell was gay.
As well as Whitney Houston.
Wait, like you said, don't interrupt. Everybody knew that Tevin Campbell was gay or suspected him to be gay. Yet, nonetheless, Black people were the ones who bought 90% of Tevin Campbell records. Black people was his fan base. Black people supported Tevin Campbell. Black people made Tevin Campbell a millionaire. So Black people did not turn their back on Tevin Campbell. It was Black people that elevated Tevin Campbell into stardom. Tevin Campbell, from the time he was a kid, it was Black kids and teenagers that was going out buying Tevin Campbell records. When Tevin Campbell started becoming an adult or whatever, he put out less and less records. So it was not Black people that was homophobic and turned their back on Tevin Campbell and this and that. People pretty much suspected Tevin Campbell, Luther Vandross, and a number of other Black stars were gay. Yet their biggest fan base were Black people. So Black people in turn made these people superstars, brought these people stardom, brought these people money, never abused these people, never mistreated them, never ran them out of town with a pitchfork and a blowtorch and said, we're going to get them, we're going to get them, we're going to get them. So, no. And you want to say something about Black homophobia? Well, let's be for real. How many superstars, white superstars in the 90s that was coming out that was gay or whatever? You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a whole bunch of white males that was singing. That's what's his name? The one that's dead now, George Michael. Everybody suspected George Michael was gay back in the 90s and the 80s. George Michael didn't come out in the 80s and say, hey, I'm a gay man, because he was considered a heartthrob to a bunch of young white women, and they wanted to keep that image. So the record labels told George Michael to knock it off. Go ahead and keep this front, keep this image. You're talking about white men. We can go back to Rock Hudson. We can go back to all of the Hollywood stars and stuff from the 20s or 30s or 40s and stuff that they come out now and say was gay is just the day is long. And white people did that. So also it was white people that labeled being gay, LGBTQ, or homosexual as a mental illness, not Black folks. So you may go and counter those points.
So George Michael came out in the 90s. I do think that
why did he come out in the 80s? Because George Michael, I was a child listening to George Michael in the 80s, so why did he come out then, since white folks were so accepting and loving of George Michael? And George Michael came out because George Michael got caught in the actual restroom with another man. That's how they kind of outed George Michael. So if we're going to speak facts here, TS, let's go ahead and speak some facts. And I'm not talking about, and these are grown people we're talking about. The issue tonight is about boys and girls being butt broken. I'm saying that no parent should sit up here with an 11, 12-year-old, put goddamn hot dye in this boy head, dye his hair and whatnot, because you as a woman want to do that. That's a boy. Let him grow up, and if he wants to be 18 years old, if he wants to be 18, if he wants to be 18 years old and he wants to change his hair, he wants to wear a dress, he wants to do whatever he wants to do, fine.
Are you as equally outraged as the Black boys that are out here robbing and shooting and stealing and killing in every?
Yes, I am. I actually am. But you know, that's not even the topic tonight, because it's funny. It's funny. That's not the topic tonight, though. Listen, that's not the topic tonight. Okay. Are you equally outraged about the white men that can cause mass destruction? All they got to do is push a damn button and the entire world will end. Are you equally outraged about that? Are you equally outraged about all of the stuff that white people do? Or just, I forgot, you're just a black male hater? Go ahead and speak on that.
Yeah, I'm not a black male hater.
Yeah, you are a black male hater.
well, I love black men. The black man is king. I just want my black American men to step it up, take some self accountability, get an education. That's what I want. I want more. I think that in America, foreign black men certainly they're not perfect. No one is perfect. But in terms of taking educational opportunities, entrepreneurial opportunities, I think that they're outpacing Black American men. I think that Black American men focus so much on sports and athletics, which is fine. But the educational route is something that we need to pursue more. Encourage our young black boys to be engineers and physicians as opposed to just being point guards and quarterbacks, running backs, or whatever. So
And there's no issue. There's no issue with that.
thing.
There's no issue with that. What you're saying whatsoever. What I'm saying though,
Exactly.
do you think that a child should go to school and that boys should be wearing dresses at 12 years old? Do you think that a 12-year-old boy should be wearing a dress or a skirt?
So I'm trans, and I am in, ecstatic that trans children of today have choice and options, and they don't have to suffer the way that I had to suffer. So I knew that I was quote unquote gay 7, 8 years old, but I also knew that I was just not regular gay. I knew that that was something else different for me. Um, that maybe I was in the wrong body, and so I'm thankful that children, trans children, don't have to suffer the way that my generation had to suffer. Now, do I think that you know a 12-year-old can go to the doctor and be put on hormones without their parental consent? No, I don't. I think that's, maybe that's a bit much. But if a parent wants to be loving and accepting of their child, and their child comes to them like Zaya and says, I'm trans, and amazing father and mother like Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade accept their child for who they are, and and call their child by the name, and dress them in the clothing that they prefer. I think that's absolutely amazing. We need more fathers like Dwayne Wade and less fathers like Little Boots. So I don't have an issue with it. What's the problem with us? You're criticizing people like you that have your opinion are criticizing parents that actually show love and support to their children, and it's so weird. Black folks love to appreciate and acknowledge and support bad behavior. There are people that are going to ignore all of the bad behavior that's going on with black children in the world, but because you have a parent that accepts that their child may be gay or trans, that's all of the evil in the world. It's something that I cannot stand about our culture. It irritates the shit out of me.
Well, first off, a parent's job is not to be a child's best friend. So a parent doesn't have to listen to everything a child says or do everything a child wants. Like I said, when a child gets grown,
this question.
well, hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. When a child gets older and that child's an adult and that child moves out and that child has his own career, job, own place to live, own money coming in, that child is responsible for themselves. And hell, if that child wants to go and run naked in the street, that's that child's business. As a parent, I might not want him to do that, but if that child does it, then there's nothing I can do. But if that child is under my roof and I'm responsible for feeding him, clothing him, sending him to school and this and that, then yes, that child is somewhat a reflection of me. That child may have issues with his sexuality. That child may be gay. If that child's gay, I'm still going to love that child. I'm still going to take care of that child. I'm still going to do everything in the world for that child. I'm still going to do everything I can to see that child succeed. But just because I'm that child's parent doesn't mean I have to go along with everything that child wants to do or should support everything that that child wants to. My parents should support everything that I. Hold on. You cut me off now. You cut me off. Hold on. You cut me off. Now I ain't gonna allow that. Now I'm not gonna sit up here and my parents should support every single solitary thing I want to do. That's just the way life is. And Dwayne Wade, and a lot of people feel it, and I kind of feel it myself. It's kind of using that child too to kind of, hide behind maybe some of his issues as well. Maybe he wants to put on the goddamn skirt and the dress or whatever. So I mean, I kind of think so. And like what Dwayne Wade's, I'm sure his ex-wife doesn't appreciate all of the stuff that they're doing with that child, but because Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union are media darlings, she can't come out and really say anything about her own child, the way they're using it and whatnot. And that's the title of this room. That's butt breaking. They've been butt breaking. They have been butt breaking black men from the time they were on plantations, doing sexual things to them in front of their families, their wives, their children, to humiliate them, to show that they're weak as hell and this and that has not stopped. You got the media doing it. Now you got black people sitting up here as tokens, sitting up here talking about a damn boy wearing a dress is normal. Well, it ain't normal. There are plenty of gay people out there there are plenty gay people out there that don't wear dresses and stuff like that. TS, you know that as well. And if you want to do it, wait till you get to become an adult to do it. But don't use kids. Don't use kids to push your agenda, and that's what they're doing. They're using kids to push their agenda and using the kids as a mouthpiece and whatnot. So now you may speak. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed in you. How dare you insinuate that Dwayne Wade may be gay or bisexual or pansexual?
Dwayne Wade don't wear dresses and skirts before, like outfits similar to dresses. What are you talking about?
What does fashion have to do with gender?
Listen, no straight man. I ain't never worn no goddamn dress in my life or no skirt, and neither has my dad, and neither have any of my uncles or cousins or anything like that. It's got a hell of a lot to do with it. Let's stop the nonsense here. Straight men don't wear dresses and skirts. TS, you know this. Now knock it off.
What?
We ain't black Irishmen, TS. We ain't black Irishmen, man. And plus, on top of that, hold on a minute. We ain't black Irishmen, so well care. And the other thing is too, hold on a minute, man. Let somebody else get in there, man. Let somebody else see. I gotta mute you, yo. We ain't black Irish. We ain't no Irish. We don't wear no Irish or Scottish. We don't wear no damn kilts and whatnot. So knock it off. Come on, stop it. Back from that, and let's not. The Gabrielle Union is not a good mother because Zaya's actual mother said that she felt that Gabrielle turned her son out. She said that, not me. Quote the record, man. Know what I mean?
I'm gonna stay on topic, but I just want you to know that I'm gonna wear you out, Newstoter and Ray. I'm gonna cut all three of you guys out, but I'm gonna stay good now because this is a good discussion. But you got a nasty curve coming out.
Come on, TS. You know you can't move nothing over on this side. Knock it off now. We can have a nice discussion, civil discussion and whatnot, but you can't move anything over here. So let's stop it. We're gonna go to MF and then we're gonna go to Yaya. MF, go ahead and unmute your mic.
So I saw that video. I had retrieved this video when I had first saw it, and I have an issue with it based on the fact that, again, being a parent means that you have to be able to make the decisions that are going to better fit your child in the long run. Going along with this like gender identity shit, going along with these pronouns and all the other fuck shit is mind-boggling to me. I think kids need to focus on, first of all, your education and doing what kids do, and going on and promoting this gender identity shit is a complete distraction. I'm sending my child to go to school to learn. I'm not sending my child to go to school to come home at the age of 6 and tell me, hey, I'm gay. Well, you don't know what gay is, and you don't even know how to wipe your ass correctly when you talk about you gay. That shit don't make no fucking sense to me. Not to mention the fact that this woman sat here and was dyeing this boy's hair and got him sitting like a little pretty princess. It's disturbing in the fact that this is where it comes into where you have the mothers that are making the boys feminine, and then you got the women wanting to be in the men roles. So there's no fucking gender norm here. It's disturbing. I don't promote that shit. I think it's fucking weird. And it's not something that's a beneficial thing for the black community, considering what is going on nowadays. People need to focus on, first of all, what our tangibles need to be and what they are, and not focus on this gender shit. It's mind-boggling to me, but that's all I had to say.
No doubt. Appreciate you coming up. Yaya, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, hi, thank you. Bug breaking and dough breaking, black boys and girls. Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union are horrible parents. I put them right next to Will Smith and Jada Pickett and the rest of those horrible parents. You had all the resources to give your children the enlightenment of the world and protect them from everything. And you dropped the ball and you destroyed those little boys and girls in the name of Hollywood and your career. Okay? Dwayne Wade's ex-wife used to protect him in high school. His mother was addicted to crack cocaine, and he had a very tumultuous childhood. And she was his girlfriend, and she used to stick up and fight for him because the kids at school used to call him a sissy and soft and gay. And she used to stick up and protect him. Learn his story before you come up here with these stories. And then when he had something really tumultuous happen in his childhood, and him and his little brother were going to be given over to the state, his girlfriend's mother stepped up and took him in and his little brother in. And they continued to date, and then they got married and they had children. That mother has been saying for the longest time that Gabrielle Union is dangerous to her children, and she's very toxic to her children. And Gabrielle is the one who hired the nanny that took care of those children, right? And the nanny that Gabrielle Union decided to hire was a homosexual white male. Now, am I saying that that white male did anything to the children? No, but I'm saying impressions are everything. And if your caretaker, if your male role model, if the person who cares for you and feeds you and protects you and everything, yes, children have what they call imprinting, okay? And if they like you and look up to you, and you're the one that is forming their ideas and their standards and their line in the sand and everything else, I think you really need to take into accountability. If you look at their doctors and their teachers and you pick their schools and you're watching their friends, right? Because if you let children make their own decision, they wouldn't have any teeth in their mouth because they eat candy and cake every day. They would be kidnapped because they would go to their friend's house, because they'll call somebody their friend after 5 minutes of playing at a park. They will run right over to you and tell you, Hannah's my friend. And if you let them go spend a night at friend's house, you might not ever see them again. If you allow them to get their ball out the street, they'll get hit by a car because they forget to look from the left to the right because they're children. And you're supposed to raise them up. They're not supposed to raise you up, and they're not self-raisable. I hate Barney. Barney came in and just ruined a whole generation. Kids are people too. No, they're not. People are people, and kids are kids. And kids don't have the same way in the world as people. People are adults. Kids are human, but no, kids are not people too. I love you. You love me. We're all friends and family. No, Barney, no. Stranger danger. Okay? Stranger danger. Nickelodeon too. Destroyed a whole generation. Everyone's a winner. So then you have a whole generation where there were no scores at the games because even the loser kids were winners. No, we have losers and we have winners. And then we have lines, and then we have sexuality, and we have self-identity. Okay? Now, self-identity and stuff, and there's levels to it. Children don't self-identify as adults. They're not going to self-identify as their sexual preferences. They're children. They're children. They're going to want whatever they want, whatever's shiny. They're going to go through life and you're going to show them things and you're going to teach them. They're not going to know the difference between this and that. You teach them. That's what you do. You don't allow them to just buck wild out there with no teaching. And you definitely don't allow other adults who think it's okay to do anything when it comes to identifying, classifying, dressing, looking at, talking to any child about sexuality. That is disgusting. And that is criminal. And it is unacceptable. No adult outside of a child's parent should be talking to any minor child about sexuality. Period. So, they're disgusting. And they're allowing that child to be exploited. I live in California. I live in the Bay Area. Mount Zion is one of the top hospitals in the nation that is doing sexual reconsignment for children under the age of 18. And you can talk to any grassroots organizer who works within the LBGT community and ask them, what is the suicide rate? In 1999, in the LBG community of minors, and what is the suicide rate now in 2022? In that same age range that has grown up and the new kids that have come behind him. Those children who have had sex reassignment surgery, which is what they're calling it, are killing themselves at an alarming rate. They are changing their minds. They are saying, I no longer want to be this reassignment. I want to go back to the gender that I was born with. And no one is talking about that in that community. And I'm in a state where the suicide rate for children with reassignment surgery is beyond alarming. And the community is not talking about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Yaya, because when you came up in here, goddamn TS hauled ass. TS stuck around for a little bit, but then once TS started hearing you, TS was like, look, let me go ahead and cut up out of here. Like I said before, a child is a child. And you're right, I have to make my son them read and whatnot. My sons read and whatnot because they don't want to read. They don't want to. They want to do what they want to do. But here's the thing: I'm the parent, and if they don't do well, that's a reflection of me. So whether they want to or not, you're gonna read. You're gonna do your work. You're gonna go to bed what time I tell you to go to bed. Because at the end of the day, I'm the parent, and what I say goes. Now, like I say, when you have your own house and you're responsible for yourself, hey, there's nothing I can do about that. I guess TS decided to come back again, so this is going to be interesting or whatever.
Okay,
but I don't give a damn what.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. There is a thing called buck breaking. There is also dough breaking, and it's not dough breaking isn't to the level it is with buck breaking, because buck breaking is about the men. You go if you want to conquer a people. You don't say, "Oh God, let me go plot and see how we can conquer these people by getting their women." No, you say, "I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the men." Once I go ahead and I have my way with the men, I can beat the men. Then the women are the spoils of the war. I mean, I know people don't want to hear that, but the women are the spoils of the war. You beat the men, you make the men submissive, and everything else is gravy. And it's been that way for a few hundred years over here in America. We got to go ahead and put our focus on making black men, you know what I'm saying, submissive, making black men weak, defeating black men. Because once we defeat black men, then the entire community is ours. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh yeah, thank you, Newstoter. Yeah, this is interesting because see, this is, unfortunately, this is being pushed on all levels at this point in time. See, recently on my job, we had to do this thing whereby it was an online thing dealing with oppression. But then the people who were the instructors of this issue, it was two black. It was a man and a woman, but they had all this stuff up there about the pronouns and this, that, and whatever. So I didn't put any pronouns. I just put my name and logged in, and they sent me a a review to review what I was supposed to have learned. And I told them, I said, well, look, this thing with the suppression, and they didn't ask me any other question, but I told them it was inherent. I said, if grown adults don't know what they're doing, then that's on them. But from what I have been looking at, this thing as far as with the homosexuality in the Black community. Now, I know I've heard some of our scholars who have done deep research, and they said that they did not find anything similar to homosexuality in ancient Kemet until the Arabs and the white folks invaded. And what I'm looking at is that, because they did some of everything to us. And excuse me, I'm talking. Excuse me, will you shut the hell up? Anyway, will you shut? Excuse me. And so what I'm
all right, yes,
chill out. Let's speak, man. You know what I mean? Everybody hold y'all talking. We're
gonna move you down, listener.
Okay, that's fine, but I don't know.
No, excuse me, but I'm talking.
Yeah, TS, just be respectful, man. Everybody get a turn. Hold your talking points. Keep your hands raised. This is the Newstoter show where we promote our Black news. So this is being recorded. We don't want to embarrass ourselves by letting other elders and folks listen to this conversation later on. Just, yield your plane by your talking points. Go ahead, Original.
Okay, thank you very much. And so what I'm saying is that remember, there was a study that came out, and it stated that descendants of the people who was in Nazi Germany were having these traumas and things. They were still having the trauma that their ancestors, went through. And I'm looking at the things that we have gone through with these sick white folks and others, that this possibly is some kind of epigenetic transfer that is showing itself now. And I know people don't like to hear this because they have an agenda they want to promote. And I don't know if you are familiar with this, Newstoter, but there was someone sent me this website. It was years ago, and it's still up. It's called This American Life. And see, when people talk about homosexuality being taken out of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, that wasn't just arbitrarily done. This lady, she documented how when her grandmother passed on, her grandfather and gay friends sat around her kitchen table and they plotted how they would have homosexuality taken out of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. Now, mind you, there are all kind of psychological issues that people have. But what I found interesting is that these people who were gay psychologists and psychiatrists, they didn't feel that anything was wrong with them, but they wanted to be seen as normal. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, there may be something to this. So I just wanted to share that because I think oftentimes in that article, it's still up. If you go to this site, thisamericanlife.org, and you type in 81 words, you can review what this lady talked about, what happened in her grandmother's kitchen after she transitioned on, And so I just want to say that people need to understand this is not an attack on anyone. There's no such thing as homophobia in the Black community because a phobia is an irrational fear of something or someone, and you have to be clinically diagnosed with that. And if you can't clinically diagnose someone with a phobia, then you cannot call someone homophobic. And I'll land on that.
You're homophobic.
I'm gonna go ahead and kick it. I'm gonna kick it to Sin G, but before I do, I'm gonna just put it like this here. If you're grown and you're a man and you want to wear dresses, that's totally up to you. If you're a child and you're talking about putting a child, especially a boy, on a dress, I got an issue with it. Straight up, I don't give a damn who likes it. Cynthia G, go ahead and
Thank you. I'm a gay boy, and the thing with me is, like, I don't know if this is what most gay people admit, but as a boy, because I'm gay, like, for me, it's not that I want to be with other men. It's that I wish I was a woman. I wish I was a woman, and I wish that, I could live life as a woman. That's the secret that I've never told anyone. So, like, when I was, I guess, as you put, buck broken, like in the title. It's basically me wanting to be a woman. Like, me getting with men is not me wanting to be a man. Like, when you're gay, like, for me, it's not about being with men. It's about me wishing I was a woman. Like, I wish I was a woman. I know I can never be a woman. Like, I don't agree with the whole trans thing. But if I could wake up tomorrow morning and be a full-blown woman, that's what I would be. And I think that's why they're pushing this transgender stuff on the kids, is because they're selling them a fantasy of something that they'll never be. You will never be a woman. In your mind, you may be mentally fucked up like I am and have, like, an idea that, I wish I was a woman, but I have to realize that in reality, I will never be a woman, and I can never replace a woman. So, and again, that's where I come from with it. And I have some other internal trauma with the skin bleaching, and then the only wanting to be with white men, and that's some shit I got to get worked out, because I'm all fucked up in the head. I'm all fucked up. And Auntie Yaya, I'm going to say thank you, because if it wasn't for you, and I'm dead serious on this, I would probably be dead right now. That day, I almost killed myself. So I want to say thank you. I got the fucking help I need. And on some real awesome Twitter bullshit, I got nothing but fucking love for you, girl.
Adonis.
You're welcome, Adonis. Adonis, you're welcome.
What a troll, girl, please.
Appreciate that, man. Hopefully, yeah, go ahead and get the help that you need, brother. Go ahead and do what you got to do for your mental health. Damn all of the crazy, damn all the Twitter talk. And Yaya, big shout out to you. You helped that gentleman out.
Thank you.
Shout out to Yaya for helping this man out and whatnot. So definitely, bro, go ahead and get the help that you need or whatever. If it means even staying off of social media and having to deal with all of this kind of stuff, go ahead and do what's best for you. Since you had the mic, let's go ahead and get a new speaker. I see we got was that Sir Major up in the house? Sir Major, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hold on a second.
Hold on, TS.
Hold on.
We got a new. You know how it goes. We got a new speaker. And he's gonna get ready to go, and then you can go after him.
I appreciate that, good brother. Thank you, Newstoter.
TS.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Sir Major, what's up, my boy? Hold on 1 second. TS, turn that damn television down, man. Damn, dog. No, go ahead, bro.
Don't call me, man. I done already told you.
Okay, excuse me.
We don't care. Okay, go ahead, Sir Major.
Turn the TV down. That's all you need to do, man.
Go ahead, Sir Major.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it, Newstoter, and to the co-host, DJ. Beautiful space. I've been popping in and out, and I just wanted to say to Adonis, I'm glad that you're getting the help that you need. Shout outs to you for that. The other part is, the title says buck breaking, black boys and girls. I think that, you know what? If a person wants to be gay or is gay, that's their business. I'm not going to kind of interject on that, because I think folks should have the autonomy to live their life. I don't subscribe to that, but hey, it is what it is. In terms of the whole transgender thing, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. As black folks, I don't think we should be forcing that. I'm going to say bullshit, but forcing that stuff on black children and black families. I think that folks need to be careful with these new legislations where they're allowing transgender folks into men's bathrooms, because for those who have young boys, you want to be careful with that. For those who have young girls, when you have grown men with active penises walking into women's restrooms, you want to be very careful. There was a story that I'm reminded of where there was a transgender person who walked into a woman's bathroom, and he ended up raping a little girl. I wanted to put that out there. There was a story that came out recently, I want to say a few weeks back, where there was a transgender man or transgender woman. I get so confused with this shit. Excuse my language. Transgender woman who was housed in a woman's prison, and he raped 7 of the inmates. So we got to be real careful with laws that we typically think that don't affect us. For example, these transgender bills, we might need to start raising our voices out against said legislation, because it does affect us. So I just wanted to kind of name that. I don't really discriminate. If folks want to be gay, whatever, I'll bring you on my stage. We'll crack some jokes. We'll have a good time. Long as you keep your boundaries over there and you don't try to force your stuff on me. The last thing I'll say is this, really quickly, is that the whole LGBT community learned all of these these buzzwords, like the word gaslighting. I don't feel safe. We don't see things in a vacuum. And they use all these white liberal buzzwords, and they use it to dominate and to control a narrative or dominate a space, okay? Or to guilt trip someone. So, I don't agree with, all this language. I'm not really big on this gender pronoun stuff. Look, I'll call you how you present as long as you're respectful, but you're not going to force your lifestyle or your way of life on me or my community. I got a lot of flack about back in 2013 about how I chose to run my BLM organization. I left BLM the other fashion is because I don't believe in centering sexuality and or gender above the black movement, the black struggle, civil rights issues or civil rights struggle. So I'm not pushing that over black bodies. I just wanted to name that.
No doubt. I appreciate you coming in, Sir Major. By the title, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the buck breaking and dough breaking of black boys and girls. Like I say, if you're grown, and like I said, I have absolutely no problem with anybody that's LGBTQ, homosexual level, because let's be for real, they're all in our community, they're in our family, they're in our church, they're wherever we go at. Don't have a problem with them, never had a problem with them. My problem is the actual perception that we're putting on these kids right now that you're a boy and that we live in a genderless society, or you're a girl and we live in a genderless society, and that's nonsense. There is a difference between male and female, men and women, boys and girls, and when we start sitting up here saying that there's no difference, then I think we do harm to not only the kids but society as a whole as well. So yeah, I have no issue whatsoever with anybody that has grown. If you grown and you want to wear a dress, man, that's on you. Whatever, you know what I'm saying. I don't agree with it, but that's what you want to do. Fine. But I do have an issue with boys up here wearing dresses. I have a big issue with that. I'm not going to sit up here and say that that's cool, because that's not cool. That's not fine. I think it's destructive nature. I think it's going to come back to hurt the community and whatnot. And we have enough issues. We don't need that as well too. So, Immortal, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Right on, fam. Greetings. Somebody just mentioned, what I wanted to add to the conversation, and that is, this thing with Black Lives Matter and the buck breaking and dough breaking black boys and girls. After I get that point, I'll talk to you a bit about the schools. But yeah, here in St. Louis, Missouri, which y'all know, the outskirts of a little municipality called Ferguson, where we had grassroots activists like Darren Seals and many others. And they were, trying to get some justice for us around here for Michael Brown and others, and other things. And that's when Black Lives Matter came in, and their whole thing was this gender thing. And they kind of switched the energy. They tried to anyway switch the energy. They ultimately succeeded over time. But, they just kind of came in and switched the whole conversation from the justice that we needed and the protections that we needed to this whole gender conversation. And it was just atrocious. So that's what I wanted to say about that. And all through, 2014, 2015, 2016, all during that time, that Black Lives Matter organization was going hard for the LGBTQ types of issues, and really just looking for our issues that we were going through and diverting that. And I believe Tarika spoke on that extensively about how that community finds something that happens to us. They come around, and the next thing you know, they're telling people to, donate to them and all this, and taking the energy away from what we're actually trying to do and the protections we need. And so going on from Black Lives Matter and all those who were involved with that, leaving that and going into the schools. Man, when I was coming up, fortunately, there were times in my life where I went to all black schools. And it was nothing for me to see red, black, and green around. And, them was the days, so yeah, it wasn't my fault. But those were the days, and you'd see the red, black, and green, and we would learn about Harriet Tubman, and we would learn about all these great people. And then now in schools, if you go to your local school, if you got kids, just go look around. If they're in public school, especially, all you see is rainbows. No matter where you go, everything's a rainbow. All the decorations are rainbows. Everything's a rainbow. So and the classes that they're giving the children are, I heard of one that talks about non-procreative sex and how to enjoy that they're teaching the children. So we really, really, really got to get into homeschooling, got to get into these private schools for our children and build those institutions up also. And so I'm going to land with that for the moment.
Yeah, Maury, I appreciate you coming through. Like I say, my issue, I'm not anti-LGBTQ. I'm not anti-homosexual, lesbian, any of that. Like I said, you're grown, and what you do behind, in the privacy of your house and your bedroom, that's your business. That's your issue. I have no issue with you. I know LGBTQ people, they're cool as hell, so I have no issue with that. My issue is the stuff that's directed at the kids, trying to bring up the next generation to go ahead and put them in there and say that there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with boys wearing skirts and dresses and walking around with purse, a pocketbook on their hips and whatnot. That's perfectly normal behavior. You're just getting in touch with your feminine side. There's nothing wrong with a girl strapping down and taping down her breast and this and that and cutting her hair as much as she can to try to look like a man. There's nothing wrong with a woman having a short hair. Don't get me wrong, sisters, but sitting up here trying your best to actually try to look like a man or this and that. And like I said, you're 12, you're 13, you're 14, and people saying that that's the way to go about it. I have an issue with it. I have an issue with kids going to drag shows and kids going to gay parades and stuff out there with all kind of things. Because let's be for real, there's lots of things that straight kids shouldn't be going to for heterosexual adult people. Back in the day, you shouldn't have been going to Black Beach or whatnot. If you're 13 years old, you shouldn't be hanging out there on the beach and you got women half dressed and this and that. So there are a lot of things that, whether it be a straight kid or a gay kid or whatever, they can wait until they get older to actually experience this stuff right here. So that's my issue with the whole thing right there. Like I said, I have a big issue with that right there, and I'm not going to change it. I don't care who likes it. Elmira, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you. With the young man that said he had an issue with white men, well, the Black women had an issue because we were directed to prefer the white man over our own man. Yet, fortunately, I grew up in a household where I had a dominant male image of father. And all the men that came around except one, he had been in prison. And he had the cont, as they used to call it, the pressed hair. And you know what Malcolm X went through. And he was in prison down in Tennessee. And he had a white girlfriend. And unfortunately, the police beat him. And then they turned some of the prisoners on him. So my father said he was different after he came back. And well, my father was like the godfather to the family because when he was in war, he killed some white people in World War II. Don't make a long story short, that's the whole thing, to make us divert from who we are. And I didn't ever want a white guy. I've worked with them. I didn't like their smell. I didn't like that long hair. I didn't care the Pinocchio noses. They don't generate the way I know a Black man generates. And they put them on TV, every commercial, there used to be movies called Beach Blanket and everybody wanted Moon Doggy. We don't need a moon. We come from the sun. So, my cousins were Black Muslims and they would just, make sure they were validating everything about white supremacy, say. So No, you don't need that, self-defeating attitude about the white man, because that's all that is. That's very self-defeating, because they're not worth it. I saw, I think it was the Red Cross. They were showing people, well, anyway, this white guy, all of a sudden the black guy drops down, and then you hear him apparently performing oral sex. And my daughter's a health doctor, and so she teaches sex education. And so I said, what was the purpose? What was the idea? And she says, to portray this dominance that these white people, these white men feel that they have on our black men. And I just could not believe that this is being taught in sex education. So, we have to wake up. This is detrimental totally. And, I have to ask my sons and, now my grandchildren, what's going on? Do you see, and we turn the commercials off where, two men are kissing, and no, you have to have balance in your life. They know what gay is. And, I tell them, well, years ago it was being happy. Though I says, though everybody's not happy because some people go too far. And that's just the way just, you have to defend yourself out here totally. Don't be, have a defeatist attitude, because that's what they want. I'll land my plane.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate you. I appreciate having that elder wisdom dropping into the actual conversation. Definitely appreciate having you there. If you don't mind, stick around and listen to a little bit more of the conversation. For those who can, you can support us on Cash App. That's $Newstoter. That is $Newstoter. Once again, that's $Newstoter. And TS has come back up in here. TS, you got you. We're going to go TS, Immortal, and Yaya. So, TS, go ahead and unmute your mic. Hey, DJ, hold it down. DJ, you there? Hold it down for me for 1 second, all right?
Go ahead, bro. Hey, before you go, TS, just everybody getting a Jumbotron, something from Sister Tyrell. She wants you guys to go, or want all of us. I didn't even know I've seen it, but I'll go rewatch it. Go on the Jumbotron, third from the left. It says, Goodbye, Uncle Tom. Go watch that movie right there, y'all. Shout out to Sister Tyrell, but go ahead, TS.
Girl, Amara, you need to quit and go to the psych ward.
See, we ain't having a disrespect up here. TS telling somebody they need to go somewhere. You know what I mean? If anybody need to go to Arkham Asylum, that may be you. You feel what I'm saying? So either you gonna be nice or you gonna meet your mic, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Make your choice, but you ain't gonna disrespect the OG. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
I mean, you guys disrespect me by misgendering me, and I want to make it very clear that misgendering me is a violation of Twitter's code of conduct, and Twitter will absolutely suspend your account for misgendering. So I want to make that very clear. Anybody that misgenders me, a report, your account will absolutely be suspended. Okay.
But you the homie though, yo. That's what it, so you could go ahead and report me. You the homie.
I'm not gonna report you. So even so, I have a love-hate relationship with you and Newstoter. You know I can't stand Newstoter, and then sometimes I like Newstoter. I may decide to donate. Maybe we'll see. You guys are doing good today, okay? Now, I did not know that there was an affiliation with Secure the Tribe. I see the lunatics from Secure the Tribe in here. I don't fuck with them. Anyway, well, DJ, help me out. So I was having audio issues, so I cleared the room. I laid you guys out about Dwayne Wade and Zaya. So did you guys hear what I said? My mother was calling me. I have a repaired relationship with my mother, so we were speaking on parenting and trans children. And so I have a repaired relationship with my mother. I won't get too personal in terms of how we were able to repair a relationship, but it came together after my grandfather died, and there were some things that were inherited. I guess that made my mother reconsider her relationship with me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, did you guys hear what I was speaking about in reference to Zaya and Dwayne Wade and the topic of this discussion? I don't know what you guys heard.
Well, everybody, I guess, giving an emoji chat, so I guess they heard it. But
we heard it.
Yeah, we heard it, I guess.
Yeah, so Newstoter, I'm about to lay you out because I have an issue with your stance. Because to me, you critique me and say that I hate heterosexual black men. When I tell you, I want to.
You do.
First of all, I'm only. Well, that's a lie. I was about to tell a lie. I was about to say I'm only attracted to heterosexual black American men. That's a lie. The brokest of the broke. Never. But what I'm saying is, I don't understand.
Hold up a minute. Hold on a second. You calling black men broke? You calling black men broke? Yeah, see what I'm saying? That's the subliminal shit we gotta be listening for.
But hey, go ahead and let TS finish, so we can get to the other
I understand. But just for the record, don't ostracize black men from being broke. Ain't Nigerian? I
already said that TS hates black men, so we already know that she hates straight black men. So let TS go ahead and do what TS got to do.
First of all, DJ knows what I give, so you shouldn't take everything that I say to heart. That's the thing that upsets me is I make jokes and you guys interpret them literally. And when you guys make jokes to me, I'm just supposed to accept it. I don't. Every space, FBA space that I go into, you guys do that to me. It's so annoying. It was just a joke. Clearly, I love Black American men. Like, stop it. That's my culture, my heritage. It's just a joke. Anyway, Newstoter. So, for me, I think that the statements you made would make you a terrible parent because I'm not a parent, but I think that a parent should love their child. And so this is why I'm such a proponent to Dwayne Wade. I think that he is, if someone were to ask me who is a stand-up black American father figure, I would say LeBron James, um, Dwayne Wade, because Dwayne has shown that he loves and supports his children regardless of who they are. And I think that in our culture, as I stated, we like to reward bad behavior. And there are black people that will say the absolutely most disgusting things about Dwayne Wade for no other reason than he loves Zaya. It eats you guys up that he loves Zaya. And so I'm always going to rock for Dwayne Wade. But the statement that you made, Newstoter, that just makes me question, you know, how can you say that you're a loving and supporting parent if you can't accept if your child were to come to you and tell you that, hey, Dad, I feel awkward in my body. Maybe I was born in the wrong body. Those are the things that lead to the high suicide rate in our community. Um, I've told you this before in this space. Being told by your grandmother you have the devil in you, you're going to burn in hell, you have this sissy spirit about you. Boys don't wear dresses, boys don't wear heels. Those things are traumatizing and traumatic for a child to experience. And that can just really destroy a person. And so having to overcome those things. And that's why I said I'm so thankful and proud of this current generation. And I know the FBA does not represent all Black American people. I'm so proud of Black people, Black society for progressing and moving forward. The best TV show on television that has a Black cast is P-Valley. I'm so thankful that Katori gave us that project so that we could see a binary Black person find love with a masculine presenting Black man. We need to see more things like that in Black culture instead of the typical homophobia and the bullshit that you guys talk about in these spaces. References Black gay people. But again, this is a nothing burger. What is butt breaking? What is dough breaking? Do you want to continuously have topics that are just irrelevant to modern society. Butt breaking has not been a thing for centuries, a century. Newstoter, like, what are you talking about? I just saw some FBA guy, so a, a viral video from like 3 years ago of Tay Diggs doing a lip sync competition. And you guys have been carrying on about that shit for 3 days. It was from 3 years ago. And Tay Diggs is a very fluid person. He dressed up as Madonna performing Vogue. It was an amazing performance, but you know, I just don't think that you guys have this opinion that to be black and to be male means you have to be masculine and macho, the king of the jungle roar. And I think that that puts a lot of pressure on black men. And so maybe that's why, you guys act out so much. Um, it's okay to be black, male, and soft and feminine. Like, who gives a fuck? I think that people should be what they want to be in the world, and that as a culture, we need to progress and stop wasting time on a nothing burger like issues such as butt breaking and homosexuality and transsexuality, and just address the real issues in our community, which is like violence amongst black men and things of that nature. So I know I've been rambling, but yeah, Newstoter, I definitely would like to hear your opinions on like how we promote, certain things in our culture, but you guys want to attack Dwayne Wade. It's like you guys hate him.
Okay.
And you said that. Hold on. You said that.
Okay, let's wrap it up because, like you said, you already like just rambling on. So let's go ahead and in 30 seconds cut this up so we can go ahead and get it back around the room. So go ahead in 30 seconds.
I think that you're a bad parent if you cannot accept your children for who they are. And if your child thinks that they're trans, I think that you should love and support them. I'm not saying that you should take them to a doctor and get them hormones. But if they come to you and say, hey, I want to wear a dress, I don't think that's the end of the world. I think that you should, nurture and, provide protection for your child.
Okay. Well, thank you for your opinions.
Also, last thing.
No, like I said, 30 seconds. Now you got 10 seconds.
Thank you. You guys can continue to have these conversations in echo chambers of this, but there's nothing you can do to stop the progression of LGBTQ legislation. As long as the Democrats exist, we will continue to
thank
move
you.
forward.
Okay, that's
Biden
enough.
2024.
All right, whatever. First off, my child.
Okay, I was trolling that last piece.
Okay, first off, a child is still, like I said, a child. And a child can come and tell me that he wants to be a zebra or he wants to be a donkey and this and that. Should I go ahead and get some tape and some sewing stuff and sew it to his ass so he can go ahead and become that animal? No, the child can say that he wants to wear a dress, all he wants to wear a dress. But if he's living in my house, then that child knows that he's not going to be wearing a dress in my house.
Okay,
Matter of fact,
no,
you're not going to cut me off. I'm going to put you down the listener. That child is not going to wear a dress. I don't care what that child's going through, this and that. Now, that child, like I said, when that child gets grown, that child can go ahead and do what that child wants to. See, that's the thing about parenting, and people somehow in the millennium and the new age and stuff like that, you're supposed to be a friend first and a parent second. No, when I grew up, you were a parent first and a friend second, first and foremost. So, no, I'm the father. You're going to listen. I'm telling you, just like you may say, I don't want to go to school today, and I'm saying you can get your ass up and get ready to go to school because that's what you're going to do. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you're going to put a dress on and this and that because I'm saying, no, I'm the one that's working. I'm the one that's paying all the bills. I'm the one that's responsible for your insurance and everything else. You're going to go ahead and you're going to dress like a boy while you're living under my roof. Now, when you become 18, and if you move out, now, if you're still living here still, if you're still living in my house, you're 18, you're going to college or whatever, you're working, you still ain't going to be wearing a dress here. I mean, that's just the way it is. Not in my house, you're not. Now, when you move out and you get your own apartment and you got your own place, then yeah, you can go ahead and you can do that. But long as you're living here, and like I said, and Dwayne Wade, his wife, the kid, his ex-wife, the actual kid's parents, like Yaya gave you a tremendous brow. Dwayne Wade ended up leaving this woman for Gabrielle Union. And let's be for real, Gabrielle Union is the one that called the shots. But I don't even put the fault on Gabrielle Union because Gabrielle Union is a stepmom. Dwayne Wade is the man. He's a father. He's a biological father. He allows this crap that she says and this and that. It is not helpful. It's not beneficial. It's destructive. It's stupid. And no, I don't support it one bit whatsoever. Like I said, that kid, like he talk about changing the kid's name into a girl's name and this and that. Why don't you let this kid turn 18 and change his own name if that's what he wants to do? So no, I don't support it. I don't believe it. I don't care if you think I'm a bad parent or not. This is my opinion, just like that's your opinion. And you're right, the Democrats, and that's what you're saying, because it wasn't Black Americans that pushed this agenda. It was Democrats from the late 1960s that started telling them, hey, if y'all go ahead and you vote Democrat, we'll fight for equal rights, but you got to support this and that. It was the Democrats from the late 1960s that started pushing all this crap on the Black community, and it has done us a world of good. So you're right. It's the white boys and the white girls in the Liberal Party that sit up here and say, this is cool, this is okay, this is how life is supposed to be. When we had our own mindset, we was dead set against a lot of this crap that they talking about. And that includes abortion as well, too, which is another topic for another time. So to go ahead and support this supposedly liberal agenda, we had to go ahead and get down with stuff that we were naturally always against. So please,
but Newstoter, hold on.
No, because you had your time to talk. No. I'm moving to Yaya. Yaya is next. Yaya,
thank you. If you listen to people long enough, they tell you exactly what's going on. And so now I get it. It makes a lot of sense now. 3 generations of just terrible parenting, a horrible grandfather, a terrible mother, and an unprotected being. And going to come on here and tell someone what a good parent is. You haven't seen one in at least 2 generations. So who are you? And you're not a parent. And so you can't talk to anyone about parenting. You can't even grade Dwayne Wade because you have no barometer to use. None at all. I had beautiful, healthy grandparents. Even one was a heroin addict, and he still kept us safe. And he still kept us healthy, and he still was a good man. Oh my God! Thank God, I had a great mother. Fucking thank you, Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you. All that white 10-pound baby Jesus, him too. And I've always wondered this attack. I know it's projection. It was the mother. It was that horrible, horrible, horrible relationship. And she probably didn't keep you safe. And I'm not saying this to be fucking funny to nobody. I'm not clowning at all. It makes sense.
Yeah,
and I'm just going to put this out there. I'm not, don't do that.
Hey, stop
interrupting. Don't do that. Don't do that.
See, every time y'all do that, we gotta mute the mic. We don't want to do that up here. TS.
Yeah, but I had to kind of drop because TS is not gonna let anybody speak, so I had to drop TS down to listener because TS is gonna stop the flow of the conversation like always. So after everybody else speaks, if TS wants to come back, then that's one thing. But while people speaking, TS is just constantly gonna interrupt the flow of the conversation. Yaya, go ahead and finish what you were saying. Yeah, go ahead and unmute your mic and finish what you were saying.
You give it a second when you take it off the mute.
Oh yeah, it was still muted. No worries. Very unhealthy towards heterosexual Black men, and very unhealthy towards heterosexual Black women. Always attacking, and not at all protective of Black children. And people project. There is nothing that wants to protect Black children and Black childrenness. And I don't know if it's because it was taken or stolen. And I don't know if a heterosexual man cosplayed heterosexuality and took it. And I don't know if a heterosexual woman allowed it. But I know that there is a direct correlation when people project on people, and there is a hatred for heterosexual women and heterosexual men, and there's a confusion about homosexual predatory behavior and it cosplaying in the uniform of a heterosexual man. And there's a disconnect there, and it shows up in every space. And now it all makes sense. And I'm just going to leave that right there.
All right, let me say something before I toss the mic to Dino and Maurice and Original. I know we getting some comments saying why y'all letting TS get on the mic? Why y'all letting TS? TS was the first person in this space, whether you agree with TS or not, and we don't agree with TS on 99% of the things that TS says. TS was the first person when I opened the mic to actually speak in this space. Nobody wanted to speak in the space. Nobody said anything in this space. Okay, it's been times with nobody in this space. We go ahead, we talk, me and DJ, we kick it back and forth. We try to get the conversation going, and nobody opens their mouth and nobody says anything whatsoever. And then when TS does talk, then that's when the conversation starts to flow. So this here, and News told us Twitter Spaces, we pretty much give the mic to anybody that go ahead and request to speak. Whether we agree with the people or not. And a lot of times we agree with them, and a lot of times we don't. But we go ahead and we give the open the mic and open the floor up so people can come up here and we can have a dialogue, a conversation, so we can have things going back and forth. So that's the reason that TS was allowed in this space. TS was the only person that said something besides me and DJ. The room was quiet. TS came in here, and for all the BS TS had, the actual conversation started flowing. So that's why TS sometimes comes up in these spaces and actually gets the mic or whatnot, because a lot of times nobody else says anything. The conversation is quiet, this and that. So that's the reason why I gave the mic to TS. TS was the first person to actually speak in this space tonight, besides me and the actual co-host. Then you can go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, just real quick, yo, before you go. So to reiterate what TS just said, the LBGT community will always stand as long as the democratic society is in place. So come midterms and come 2024, we're gonna have to get these folks up out of here, because run the tape back is on tape. You feel what I'm saying? I'm arguing with my sister who just came out the closet to me the other day. She said some ignorant ass similar shit that, I'm gonna vote blue till the day I die. Cause you fruit cup now? That's what we doing over here and shit, knowing damn well where we come from, North New Jersey, fucked up, eating government cheese and shit like that. So that's what we doing and shit. But at the end of the day, getting the Jumbotron, third from the left. Yeah, look at the street sign inside of the picture, yo. But y'all welcome. Go ahead, Vino. No?
Hold on. Before you go ahead and Draco, if you want to get up here and get on the mic, bro, you can go ahead and request to speak in the space too as well. I see you saying quite a few things in the comment section. So if you want to go ahead and request to speak, by all means, brother, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll allow you to come up here and speak. Vino, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, man. Peace to the room. Peace, Newstoter, DJ. And the entire family in the room. I came in. Y'all speaking on the Dwayne Wade situation, and I don't know if it was already said, but in I think 2010 or 2011, Dwayne Wade's ex-wife was actually suing him and Gabrielle Union for emotional distress on the children, because it was reported that Gabrielle and Dwayne Wade were performing sex acts in front of the children, and it was causing them so much stress that even the oldest child started to lose his hair and things like that. And it really goes back. You remember his ex-wife was on the street, basically homeless, and they tried to make her seem crazy or like she was tripping in that situation. And really, I see now she was really looking out for the well-being of her children, because Dwayne Wade, it seems like since he had that outside baby or whatever, he had been getting put through the ringer. It was weird. You saw him coming out in these books saying he was doing all type of deviant sex acts and just getting on weird time. Vouching for this community, and he was buck broken. So after he was buck broken, it was very easy to go on and transfer that to the children. The Zaya Wade situation is mind blowing. It's really mind blowing that they could get this child's biological mother out the way as they did, and perform these Hollywood acts. I know LeBron and D Wade. They used to have a peanut butter and jelly thing going on, right? And it just goes to show that the Hollywood, when Dwayne Wade started going Hollywood, it seems as if he's priming his children for this industry and basically selling his own seeds out to gain higher access in Hollywood. I remember when LeBron James first went to LA, y'all might remember, Magic Johnson's son came out and said he wants to show LeBron's son the ropes in California. He wants to show him around Hollywood. I said, what would he want to show him? And basically it's weird. I don't want to get on conspiracy time, but we know that these parties, a lot of things go on, and a lot of compromising positions, and a lot of compromising things. We know the name of the game when you get in the highest realm of anything is blackmail and compromise. So I'm just wondering, what is like? It's like it just makes it seem it's a conflict of interest. You be coming out to the black community, pushing these agendas, saying that you're the best, y'all are the pinnacle of parenthood, basically. You have the feminists pushing Gabrielle and Dwayne Wade, and just, the masculinity aspect has been filtered out of our communities, and it's been demonized to the point where, man, forms of buck breaking and dough breaking are even more prevalent. Like, respect to the host and co-host, but to give a LGBTQ misogynist as T.S. Giselle so much time to speak and so much room, it can be perceived as such because they're pushing narratives. This person has shown that they hate, the black women in, not just in the tribe, but black American women as a whole. When this person can post things and say that, natural born women are jealous of their femininity or they hating on this person, is just misguided, and it goes to show that these people have just a false sense of what it even is to be a woman, and to disrespect the women that have, it's just off. It's just off base. I can't allow that. So that's why I felt the need to interject. But yeah, as far as the Dwayne Wade situation, there's a lot of buck breaking in that. Shout out to Lil Boosie, because Jay-Z actually tried to call him and check him on that when he spoke on that situation, and Lil Boosie stood firm. He said, "No, I'm not apologizing. I don't care what movie role you're gonna give me. I don't care what type of investments or businesses you could give me. This is what I'm standing on." And that is what we have to do more as black men and black women. Just stand up for what we know is right and reject liberalism that has been the death of our communities. And I'm just gonna land with that.
I appreciate you coming in, Dino, and I'm gonna say this right here on the TS thing right here. The Newstoter space, like I said, we let any and everybody come up in here and speak their mind, speak it freely or whatever. But at the same time, me and the co-host, we don't bow down, and we're not afraid of no TS Giselle. Straight up, like, we're not gonna sit up here and get holed up in our own space by TS Giselle. So we'll allow TS to come in here, and we allow TS to say things to a certain point. But we've always checked TS. And we've always checked anybody else that came in here that's been disrespectful as well. So like I say, we allow people to come up in here and say what they want to. We've gotten on TS. We've straightened TS out. We've kicked TS out the room and whatnot. Like I said, the conversation was slow tonight. Like I said to the brother that was talking noise in the comments section, feel free to come up here and get the mic, brother, and speak your mind if you got something to say about it. But we don't sit up here. I'm not afraid of no TS Giselle. I don't give a damn what TS does in other spaces and whatnot. TS is going to do only what we allow TS to do in here. TS gets out of line, we will kick TS up out of here. And we're not afraid of TS. We don't bow down to TS. We don't bow down pretty much to anybody. We're not going to be told how the space is supposed to be run. We give everybody a chance to come up here, state their opinion, state their mind, say what they want to say, whatever. We want to have dialogue. We don't want everybody to be in agreement on everything. We do want to have conflicting opinions and different points of views as much as possible without, trying to get too much offhand, off topic or whatever. But damn, we're not afraid of no TS. We're not going to sit up here and let TS dictate to our room, and we're not afraid to put TS on the mic. If TS, like I said, gets out of line, TS has to get booted, which wouldn't be the first, the second, the third, or the fourth time TS has been booted out of the Newstoter space.
I respect that, brother. Can I have one quick comment before you move on?
Go ahead.
Yeah, to T.S. Giselle, you are very opinionated in these spaces. You love to cut the women off, and you speak out on a lot of these things. You are very outspoken in spaces. You come in and you center yourself a lot. So I, Vino, personally implore you, T.S. Giselle, to show your work on the ground in the community where you are vouching for people with your interests. You don't have the same interests as me, but I implore you to show what you are doing for the people in your community, in real life, and the people directly around you before you come in these spaces and you are so opinionated and cutting off the women that are doing actual work, getting outside and touching people in their communities. And I'm going to land with that.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you coming into the space tonight. Maurice, go ahead and unmute your mic. Maurice, you there? Not sure. We may have lost Maurice. Maurice, are you there?
May I just say, these people that want to change their baby's gender, especially with a boy, they need to see what that surgery is about. To see all the amounts of blood that's lost by cutting, removing their genitalia and then going and making a female vagina. I mean, it is thoroughly gross. And I've had children, 3. It's not any comparison.
Hello?
Yeah, is that you? That's you, Maurice?
Yeah, this is me.
Go ahead, unmute your mic. Yeah, go ahead.
This is my first time on one of these spaces, and what I wanted to say as a black father and grandfather, you know what I'm saying? We're in the business of building soap. You know what I'm saying? At the climate that we in right now, with this LGBT stuff going on, we need to build our kids up, our boys up to be soldiers. You know what I mean? Butt breaking doesn't just come from sexual access. Men tied up on the back of horses, and white men smack the back of that horse and let that horse rip these men's bodies apart in front of the community, in front of their family, in front of their children. Men with their genitals hanging out of their mouth and in front of public crowds for the people to see. You understand what I'm saying? So butt breaking isn't just about sexual activity. And like with the LGBT crowd, you know what I'm saying? I have my grandson, you know what I'm saying, which will be starting Head Start soon. I don't need my grandson to be sitting up in no classroom with no drag queen. You know what I'm saying? Black evolution starts with the mind first, what we teaching these boys. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these females, when you start talking about Dwayne Wade and his son, I see that as a form of child abuse. You're abusing that child. You know what I'm saying? That's not, you know what I mean? Like, I dig the LGBT thing and the trans thing and all of that, but that's a young male. You know what I mean? At that age, in my opinion, he doesn't really understand what he's doing. I believe that man is living through his child as far as what he wants to be. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we putting our kids in these environments, and this stuff is being shoved down our throat, and we're supposed to just be okay with it. We're not supposed to fight back against it. We're supposed to accept it. And no, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as my grandson, no, I'm not accepting that. If that's how you want to live, that's how you want to live. But you know what I mean? Black men, and as far as how we raise our children and our grandchildren, that should be totally up to us. And I'll land my plane with that.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Yeah, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you. And we have to be honest with our children. We have to be honest with our children, not treat them like they're adults, but honest with them with what they see. We are too far in the game. And we're at a point right now where we don't have time to play. So if you're going to allow your children, say, to listen to rap music, you need to explain to your children. If you're going to allow that, then you have to educate them on that. You need to explain to them what they're hearing. You need to explain to them who's singing it. You need to explain to them the person who's singing it, why they're singing it, who they work for, and who they mama and they daddy is. Like if you're going to listen to a young boy around me, then you're going to know who Chandra is, his mama. And then we're going to go to her page. And then we're going to see how he came along. And then you're going to listen to a song and you ain't going to bounce your head to the music. We're going to break down the lyrics and you're going to listen to him tell you how sad he is and how hurt he is. And he's going to tell you how old he was when he got his heart broken by his mama and all the things she did to him. He's going to express that to you. So if you want to listen to his music, then we're going to have to break his music down. So, took my grandchildren to get ice cream the other day. We walk into one of our favorite ice cream places, and voila, there is a man with long dark hair, a full beard, a full face of makeup, the little crown on top of his head, working at our ice cream place, dressed in half boy clothes, half girl clothes, just a walking, talking unicorn rainbow. We walk in, my youngest grandson looks and he says, Yaya, is that Halloween? And I said, no. And then my oldest grandson busts out laughing and he points and he says, what are you doing? It ain't even Halloween. And he laughs back and he says, I'm not doing anything. I'm at work. And then my oldest grandson turns to me and he says, now we live in the Bay Area where we see a lot of things, but now you're at work, okay? You're not just walking down the street. You're at work. And you know that children are going to come in here and you're grown. So we're going to deal with this. So he turns to me and he says, what is this? And I said, I don't know. It looks like it's a boy who has on a full face of makeup with a beard and I think a dress and a Cinderella crown on his head. And they fell out laughing and we all laughed because check this out. You got up that morning and you got dressed and you decided to go into an ice cream store and work where you knew little children were going to come in and get ice cream. I'm not going to lie to them for you. That's weird. That's participating. No. I'm going to answer their questions. I'm going to answer their questions. And where their brain takes them, then I'm going to let it take them there, and then we're going to discuss it. And we will talk about you all the way out the ice cream store, in the car, and whenever they have a fucking question, if it's a week later, we're going to address it. Because you got up with your beard and put on a full face of makeup and decided to go to work at an ice cream store. And I'm not lying to my children. I'm going to tell you, that's a boy, and his brain is telling him that he wants to dress like that, like a girl. And that's what his brain did to him. Okay? Period. And he wants you to agree with his brain. And you have choices, just like he had choices to get up and dress like that and go work in an ice cream store. You can decide to play along with his brain game, or you can decide to stand on your own brain and just decide not to participate in that and know that for exactly what it is. And we're going to discuss it. You're not going to leave my kids confused, and you're not going to seduce them, and you're not going to coerce them, and you're not going to do nothing to them. Period. They're going to know exactly what's going on at all times. Okay?
Have you ever noticed some of these older cartoons or older shows back in the day, whether it came out in the 70s or whenever, that a lot of these characters now that they come out and the people start saying, oh yeah, well, this character was actually gay, and they're actually having people come out and say, well, this character was gay, and this person was gay, and Wonder Woman was actually a lesbian, and this cartoon was actually gay, and this and that. I had to stop my sons from watching a few cartoons because every time I turned around, or when I turned around, like the one day they was in there looking at the show, and I up and looked, and I see the damn cartoons with the damn pants down showing their butts. Like they forever got the male characters on these cartoons showing their butts. Now they don't have the girl characters showing their butts. No, they don't have the girl characters showing they behinds, but you always see one of these male characters with their pants down showing their butts. Another show I had to stop them from watching because you had I don't know if it was American Dad or something. You had two men getting married on it or something like that. And when they was young, the author last year, you had the teacher, Mr. Ratburn, was having a same-sex marriage and stuff like that. So I just politely told them, and of course they kids, they got upset with me. Like, well, why do we have to stop watching it? I'm like, well, this is not the image that I feel that y'all need to be watching. I don't think they should be having, two same-sex marriages on the show where they never even talked about sexuality before. Now they're going out of the way. They didn't talk about heterosexual activity, but now they're going to talk about same-sex marriages. They never once talked about heterosexual men and women relationships, but now they're going to go ahead and go out their way to talk about homosexual relationships. So I had an issue with that. Like I said, my kids didn't like it, but every time I looked, these shows was pulling their pants down, shaking their butt. The male characters got their butt all up in the camera, shaking their butt. And I'm thinking, like, what is the issue with this? Why are you showing these cartoons that we know most of these cartoons boys watch? Why are you showing these male characters with their butts all up in the camera? Because when I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, there was no cartoon that ever got naked on cartoons. You never saw male or female characters' body parts exposed. So why are you doing this now? Why are all these characters that came out in the 60s or 70s stuff that we grew up with, they talking about, well, these characters was actually gay. This is actually a gay character. This person was actually same sex. I believe the Rugrats, they did a reboot of it. Now one of the Rugrats mama is lesbian. They never talked about this stuff before. What is the point? What is the agenda behind it? So don't sit up here and say that buck breaking and dope breaking is something back in the 1800s or the 1900s. There's various forms of buck breaking. There's various ways of getting to people's minds and whatnot. Letting kids know, hey, this ain't really that bad, y'all. This is okay. You can go ahead and enjoy this. You see they're having fun. They're shaking their tails up here, their butts up here. Nothing wrong with that. So yeah, as a parent, you do have to kind of guard and safe keep what your kids listen to, what they watch, and whether they get upset or not. You're the parent. You're the boss. You tell them what they can watch and what they can't watch. And if they don't like it, I'm going to tell you like my parents told me growing up. Tough shit. That's the way of the world. That's how life is. DJ, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Nah, just agreeing with everything y'all said. I forgot what I was going to say. Y'all just going in, but go ahead, don't y'all.
Well, no, that was pretty much it, man. It's just like, I'm seeing these images and they're making sure that these kids see it at a young age to go ahead and let them know that, hey, this is okay. This is all right. There's nothing wrong with this here. people just being uptight. They just old people. They just old, unhappy people. When they was younger, people let them do what they want to do. It's okay for kids to say and do and whatever the hell they want to do. They just old. They out of touch. They don't know what's really going on in the world. Ignore what your parents say and go ahead and just listen to us and do what we say and this and that. This is okay. This is the way it should be. It's nothing wrong. I don't want my kids, young kids saying same-sex marriages on TV, and they watching a cartoon that has nothing to do with this whatsoever. Why are you putting this on here? This was never put on here before. What are you trying to let people know about? Rock, I see you got your hand up, so go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, yeah, just real quick, okay, on the imagery, right? So in the cartoons back in the day, so that's what they doing to like all the old cartoons we grew up watching: G.I. Joe, Voltron, He-Man, all got like gay characters or characters we knew that's like men.
That's what I'm
y'all
talking
turned into
about.
gay, so it's like, what the hell? Y'all ruined my childhood just to remake it for some kids in 2022. Damn, y'all ain't shit. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, Rock, unmute your mic.
Thank you, Newstoter. I'd like to ask Miss Elmira, Miss Yaya a question. My daughter, she's 15. Her BFF is a gay male. I do like him. He's a good boy. I did tell her, though, because she said to my son, boys can wear pink, boys can wear purple. And I don't mind a boy having some color, but I said, don't try to push any agendas on, your little brother. And that I do support and love your best friend, and I embrace him, but that's where it ends. My question for Miss Elmira, Miss Yaya, because I do have little children, do you think these mothers who are doing this are single mothers? Because my husband would not allow me and would probably go to war in this house if I attempted to do this to our male child, as far as like feminize him. I'm just wondering if these mothers are disconnected from their fathers, or they have strained relationships with the dads, or they're not really fully aware of the implications of what they're doing. Because my son just turned 11. About a year ago, I told my husband he is about to be learning the world as a young black man, and I can't show him how to do this. I'm a woman, and I never had brothers. So I told my husband, you're going to step up and take the role as the main parent. I'm still going to be his mom, but I'm going to take a back seat, and I'm going to let you men handle this. And so I'd like to get Miss Elmira and Miss Yaya's opinion on this, because I want to make sure I do the right thing and raise a good, strong black man for our community. Thank you, Newstoter.
No problem. Yaya, did you want to respond to that real quick? Then we'll get to you, Sierra.
Sure. And I'm speaking for myself. Dwayne Wade's son is being raised in a two-parent household. What's her name? Will Smith and his wife, they're raising Willow and that little boy in a two-parent home. And that older son got raised in a two-parent home. His mother remarried a pastor. And
Oh, yeah, you're in the shadow realm. You're in the matrix, mama.
There we go. I'm
You're
back.
in the matrix.
Am I back? Okay.
Yeah. Go back 5 to 10 seconds. 5 to 10 seconds. No, go ahead, mama. You there?
Okay. Yeah. I see if I'm better. Jada Pinkett and Will Smith's kids was raised in a two-parent household, and Magic Johnson raised that son in a two-parent household. So I don't think single parenting has anything to do on that. And then you're raising your children in a two-parent household. And I would be very concerned about my 15-year-old daughter impersonating on my 11-year-old son things that she has been impressed on her by her gay best friend. I would really supervise those relationships, and I would supervise the rhetoric between those two 15-year-olds. And I definitely would supervise the rhetoric between that 15-year-old and that 11-year-old. I, as a parent, if I decided that I was going to be okay with my 15-year-old having a opposite sex gay best friend that is the same sex as an 11-year-old child I had in my home, and as a parent, if I decided that I was going to be okay with that, then I, as a parent, have to understand the responsibility that I have now put on myself, that I'm going to accept this. I'm not going to say, hey, I got too much shit on my plate. We're going to have to visit this later or whatever. If I'm going to accept this, I'm going to accept it into my home. I'm going to accept this whole relationship. Then I got to accept the whole thing, and I got to accept how it's going to affect my family as a whole. So, and that's me. Elmira can speak on hers for herself.
Thank you. Yeah. My husband did want to end their friendship, and I was not sure how to react to that. His what he said to me.
Alrighty. Did you have anything else, Rock, that you wanted to add before we go to the next speaker?
I wanted to know what Miss Elmira thought about why a woman would do this to her black son.
Well, personally, we had issues with my first grandson. The mother kept, my son chose another woman he married. He didn't marry his baby's mother. And so in revenge, she kept him away from us 3 years. And so once my son got out of that marriage, he immediately got his son. And when we got him, my husband and I, we were helping our son because he was working. Anyway, the child was twerking because his mother attempted to be a stripper. At the time, apparently on social media, the women were throwing out on the bed all this money that they got that night or whatever. And so he was twerking, and we had to redirect him as far as his image of himself from being with the mother. And she did never have a father. Some Jamaican got her mother in junior high, came over here and just got her pregnant at 14, 13. So she didn't have any idea, and she personally resented the relationship that our son had with his mother and father. So, there was a lot of damage, though. The other week, a month ago, our grandson, well, my grandson now, my husband's dad, he used my phone a few times, and I did this video with a young man performing oral sex on another older guy, an older boy. And my grandson had been telling me, he's 14 now, my grandson had been telling me that when he goes to visit his mother in Nashville, that they're just so different, that the guys that, he knew previously when he was, say 7 or whatever. And so I told my son immediately. And so today I get messages. Now it's been about a month since I got that phone number, and I didn't even look at it. I immediately sent them to my son and his son. So this stuff is so pervasive and wide open. And he was telling me 2 years ago about these boys, that they want to draw him in. And he said, no, Granny. He said, you know me, he just, gaping on himself, I love women. I said, I know you love women. I said, come on over here. I paint my toenails, anything, I show him, when I'm sitting, I'll cross my legs, or when I get up, or, just anything to let him know, there isn't anything that your granddad and my dad, and my other generations of men did not want, that I didn't have. So at this point, he's into girls. He plays sports. Oh, a great athlete. And then he knows his dad is sometimes in and out of relationships, and some of the girls are mean. They didn't have dads around, or they're some were, didn't understand how my son could come to his mom and dad and just, drop down everything, and we were doing all possible to buffer him and, help get him in the correct form as who he was as a person and a man, a father. So, yes, it's very destructive out here with our children. So we just, we chill, we play games, we, like gender based, well, is the man gonna do this? The old games, Monopoly, well, who's gonna be the wealthiest, and all this kind of stuff, what kind of property you gonna buy, and just not any of this media hype. It's really damning. It's so damning. It's that we're not giving up the fight because we love who we are. And when a Black woman comes on the planet, we chose to be here. They are not taking us off the planet. I had a doctor tell me once, well, the Black woman, she'll always be here. And so I made a joke back to him because I let him know, oh, I already knew that, then, he resented it that I knew who I was and why I'm here. So those people can't take who we are from us. And we brought our men here because they are our joy. A Black woman that has a male child or whatever number she has, they are our joy, and it's documented, and they know that. And there are not enough women on the planet. And, keep your daughters, tell them to, exercise, be in shape. My dad was always on us. Go on outside and get a ball and start, No. He says, when you leave this planet, forensically, you let them know you're a great specimen to science. Because everything they do is about us. Forensics. The day we die, that's why they, do autopsies when you don't have a doctor or whatever. No, of course, all this other buffoonery is just nonsense. And it takes the Democrats to get them out, then that's what we're going to do. I'll land my plane. Thank you.
No problem. Sierra, we're gonna let you be the last speaker for the night, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna close the space out. DJ, I have the final word, and then I'll have the final word. So, Sierra, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you. I got on just in time. So I just wanted to chime in real quickly, just on the conversation that you're having. We do have a toddler in our home, and so kind of one thing that I follow in terms of the programming, like cartoons and things that I let her watch. It's one of the things that I grew up watching that I've already seen and I know that I'll let her to watch, and then anything else we'll have to like preview it first before she can see it. And like I'll just give you a prime example of one show that I vetted and I thought was okay, and then I was like, okay, maybe not. So there's a cartoon, just for other parents out there. It's called TOTS, TOTS. It's Tiny One's Transportation Service, and essentially the cartoon, I think it's on Disney Channel. But basically, it's kind of like a play on like the Stork's Nest, and it has like basically little baby animals that they're born in a factory, and then the storks will come and bring them to their parents, and they'll bring them to their families. And so what happens is, they'll take the little animals to the family, and then the family will usually meet them outside, and they'll meet their new addition outside, right? And it's usually like, a father, mother, grandparents, like a whole family, right? And on one episode in particular, it was a little bit different. And when they went to bring the animal to their parents, we saw inside of the house. It took us. The family wasn't waiting outside to meet the baby. We took a peek inside their house, and it was two male roosters in the bed. Like it kind of like showed the two parents that it was two male parents, and then the parents came outside and met the baby. And so I was like, this is interesting, because on one hand I can understand as far as like how the marketing and media and stuff goes, and like there's all these different kind of families and they want to represent different families and whatever. But my thing is, why are we in their bed? Well, that wasn't the case for any of the other families. Like, to me, that was kind of like where you kind of see the agenda-ish kind of thing, because it's like, why was that not the case for any of the other families? Why are we seeing them in their bed? And I thought that was very concerning. So we haven't really watched that show since then, but I just wanted to give you an example of something that I've seen in terms of, trying to vet programs for our child to watch. So I just wanted to give that example for parents. Thank you.
You're welcome. I definitely understand that, sister. Trust me. My boys are older now, but I can imagine now it's getting to that point. So you definitely got to vet and exactly see what they're watching. They're teenagers, so I definitely understand what you're saying. Draco, you said that you want to speak before we go ahead and close the space out, so I'll let you be the last speaker for the night. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay, I appreciate it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, just real quick. Okay, so one of the things I want to say is I want to point this out, because we're talking about things we're seeing in cartoons, TV shows, and things like that. Their new strategy is to use characters who look like children, but they're actually adults. In this way, they can do sexual things, but then they have the plausible deniability of saying, oh, no, that's an adult, but it just looks like a child. For example, there's a show called Invincible. It's like a cartoon, like an animated series. I think it's on Amazon. There's a boy on there, but no, I'm wrong. There's a girl on there. She looks like she's about maybe 12, but she's supposed to be 100 years old or something. And she's involved with a guy that's on there who his body never matured into an adult. I guess he uses like a robot or something because he has some disability, so he built like this robot thing. That's besides the point. But my point is they have like a adult relationship, but they both look like children. So that way they can talk about, perverse things with the plausible deniability. There's another show called Doom Patrol where there's a girl, she has like multiple personalities inside of her, and one of them is a child, and they were having like an orgy on the show while the child personality had manifested in this character. So she was observing what was happening. Also, one of the guy's daughters, she was 9 years old, but technically she was 100 years old or something. I'm starting to see this pattern. She was observing the sex orgy, and nobody was saying anything about it. So this is how they're doing the conditioning to sensitize adults from putting children in those sexual situations. This is how they're setting it up. That's the other thing about like the drag queens and the one that was in here or whatever. I don't know if he's doing that, but that's the purpose of them putting the drag shows on, is to get the adults comfortable with doing the kink and the fetishistic stuff around children for the next step that's to come, which is the decriminalization of adult and child sex. If you go back to the beginning of the history of the LGBT political movement, Harry Hay, he started the first organization of political activism for LGBT. He was a devout member of NAMPA all the way to his death. They don't want to talk about that. See what I'm saying? So I just want to touch on that real quick, and I'll land my plane. I just want people to, have their eyes open so they can see the manipulation coming from Hollywood. And, be mindful of what your children are looking at. And I'll give up the floor on that.
All right. Appreciate you speaking. DJ, I'm going to go ahead and let you get the final word, and then I'm going to go ahead and close out the space for the night.
Yeah, nothing to really to say. Everybody check the information in the Jumbotron. Share the Newstoter, get up on there on the website, all that, and hit the YouTube up, subscribe. We need followers in order to get this black content out. Peace, reparations up. One love, y'all.
Definitely. Anybody that's in the space, make sure you follow the host and co-host. Visit Newstoter.com daily, the largest curator of Black news a day in America. I appreciate everybody who came on and spoke tonight. Thank you to Yaya, Elmer, Draco, so many other people that came on and spoke tonight. I appreciate you guys coming through, listening, sharing the actual space out to your followers. Thank you guys. We will be back tomorrow night. You can always catch us Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow's Twitter space is going to be about the HBCUs and their neglect of Black Americans. So we're going to be talking about the HBCUs tomorrow night. It's getting pretty ridiculous with HBCUs, so I don't know exactly how we're going to title it, but it's definitely going to be focused on HBCUs, the amount of white students there, and the amount of non-Black American students that's actually on the campus right now. It has, like I said, got out of hand at these HBCUs, historically Black colleges. They may want to go ahead and change their name because I'm not really sure they're historically Black colleges anymore. So once again, thank you to all you guys. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. You can support the New Black Media, the largest Black curator today in America, by going to our Cash App, $Newstoter. That is $Newstoter. If you got $1 that you want to contribute, go ahead and throw it our way. That's $Newstoter. And until tomorrow, we go ahead and we'll holler at y'all. Y'all have a nice Sunday night, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So, y'all.